Okay, guys and girls, as you come on, I just want to welcome everyone here that's joining us for this great, it's morning, about to turn afternoon in Sydney. It's afternoon already in New Zealand. The gentleman that we've got on the other side of the Zoom in the tie is none other than Diego Traglia, who is, just for the record, the #1 agent for Harcourts in all of Auckland. He's the #4 agent for Harcourts worldwide, and he's the #3 agent for Harcourts in all of New Zealand. He's the real deal. He's legit. This guy here is the agent that I call at the moment probably leading the way in how to use technology to complement you in the role of a real estate practitioner. The guy is on track to write over $3 million in GCI. This guy's legit. I'll say it again. He's the real deal. My co-host here today is the CEO of Campaigntrack, a very well-known company and brand in New Zealand. How are you, Frank?
Doing good, doing good. I'm very excited for this one today, Tom.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because Diego's a client of mine, right? And I don't say it often, but man, I just think to myself, he's only beginning his journey to real estate greatness. Frank, I mean, this guy here, it's like in a short period of time, around 4 or 5 years, is writing $3 million in GCI. But what appeals to me about this guy is he is a genuine. We're not talking about the guy or girl in real estate who says, yeah, Tommy, I'm on the social media, I'm doing all of the social media stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about them because, anyone can pick up a phone and sort of say, hey, everyone, I've just sold the house behind me. This guy here is running a business that is underpinned by technology, the way that they market, the way that they capture data, the way that they actually nurture the data. And he said to me something weird the other day. He says, genuinely, Tom, it's terrible to say this, but I'm not a kind of person that loves being a prospector. I don't actually spend a lot of time chasing people. They come to me. They are attracted to me, and I'm using various tech hacks to do it. So, Diego, welcome.
What an intro. Don't know what to say. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Frank and Tom. Pleasure being here and quite privileged, really. Quite an honor. Thank you.
Yes, and we've been very kind. This has been brought to you by Campaigntrack, which many of the great offices in New Zealand, including Harcourts, are a big user of Campaigntrack, aren't they, Frank?
Yeah, yep. So we have a brand deal with them. So all of New Zealand and all of Australia using Campaigntrack in their offices to help.
Now, I'm going to start off, and I want to ask you, Diego, out of everything in technology, at the moment, if I said to you, what's your favorite bit of technology, hardware, software, to attract prospective vendors?
It's when you say digital marketing, it can mean so many things, right, Tom? And I guess that today we're focusing on the digital marketing, and there is not such a thing, one thing in the digital marketing sort of, whatever you define it, that would say, this is how people get in touch with me, or this is how I get out there. It's a combination of things within the digital marketing term that we do. But yes, overall, if you look at all the prospecting sort of that I do in terms of, printed billboards, signage, digital and all of that. Digital is my favorite because we set it up and we let it do its thing by us creating content, of course, but then the rest is all sort of automated, generated. So it's very little work once you've got a nice video, something nice to say, or a nice market update, because then it reaches thousands of people and it has an impact and influence on those people. So that is definitely my favorite medium of promoting myself.
Facebook or Google?
All of it. All of it. Facebook is probably the most important for leads generation, but then you're looking at Google remarketing. You're looking at, so we do a little bit of AdWords, but not much, but the Google remarketing is very important. And then within that, you got YouTube as well, which is very important as well. You can add some you can run some very strategic campaigns on there. And then the last one, but not least, Instagram as well, which is, that's not really paid. That's more on a social, and it's more like on a, it's not a paid platform. We don't really run many ads, paid ads on Instagram, but that's more for people that have engaged with you, have added you. And so that's a little bit more personal.
Okay. And can I just ask you, vendor paid advertising, how important does it play a role in you being able to execute a digital marketing strategy?
It does. You'll probably be looking at about 5 to 10% of a marketing package will go into digital. But the way that I said it from the outset, it's very straightforward. It's basically, I let them know that the reason why they got to pay a few $100s for sort of boosting the videos of the properties, because at the end of the day, if we boost it to the right person on the right platform, those buyers are very, very important. And they might not be an active buyer at the particular time, because of course, if you see a video on your Facebook, on your Instagram, you're not looking for property at that particular time, but it's still a very important component, especially if their buyer has been engaging with you before, because that's what you call a warm audience versus a cold one, right? So we target the videos of the properties that we promote to a warm audience, to someone that have engaged with us before, because if a random person sees a property video, they probably will discount it, right? But again, it's right person, right time, right platform.
Can I ask you, the content on video that you're using, right? Give me examples of pieces of content that you use. Obviously, property videos.
Yeah. So every time we do we have a listing, we always boost the property video on our warm audience on Facebook. Okay.
Are you in the video? Are you in the video?
Yeah, but I only do the intro of the video because I feel the agent that talks throughout the video kind of always upsets me. I just say, hey, welcome to 123 Smith Streets, Diego from Harcourts, and then let the video do its talking. So I'm at the start of it, but I don't do the talking throughout of it. But yeah, it's definitely
okay. And then once we've got this video, explain to me this video. What platforms does it go onto?
So for example, look, and we're not here to sort of promote any sort of particular product, but I know Campaigntrack does a very easy way for, it's called AIM, and it just puts it out on all the different platforms, and it just makes it nice and easy, because you got to be everywhere. I always say you got to have a finger in every single pie, because otherwise you're not 100% of the market needs to see the property to know that you got 100% of the price, right? So it's very important that you are in every single platform. So you got YouTube, you got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, of course. Yeah, all of the main ones.
So Frank, it's interesting because I know that with AIM, and I know the product inside out because of the relationship of that product has in the Australian marketplace, right? And I work very closely with one of your partners, News Corporation. We talk about, what platform to be in. I always say, Frank, listen, sometimes I watch ABC and sometimes I watch, Channel 9. I generally don't watch Channel 7, but I know that there are some people that watch Channel 7 that don't watch ABC or Channel 9. And there are certain people that just watch Channel 10. I just think to myself, you can't just keep posting content where you go, because you aren't everyone. You are you, right? Yeah, I'm just curious. Frank, what are you most pumped about, like on digital? Which, like Google, Facebook?
Good question. I think it's kind of nailing what you just said there, Tom. It has to be a combination, because the key for people to understand is, Facebook, yes, so many people utilize Facebook. However, the difference between the Google Display Network is it isn't just one website. It's absolutely everywhere you go, right? So once, someone's hit a video of Diego's on their Facebook, they then go into his remarketing audience, right? And then the next time they're on the iconic shopping for shoes, there's an ad about Diego. right? Or the next time they're looking at a news article because something's just happened with lockdown, there's Diego. So it's about that feeling of being everywhere all the time, where if you just have it in a singular channel, you completely miss out on that, because it's only when they're in that channel, and obviously there's other ads, and your ad happens and it goes. So it's about all of these different touch points. And I know sometimes people hear about, millions of impressions. You're like, what does that mean? It's small things that are micro, that are subliminally telling you that, whoa, this Diego guy's, he's everywhere. You know what I mean? He's everywhere all the time. So, before we started, I asked, how many listings do you have on, in your busy time? You said 39 auction campaigns, and you imagine the power of every one of those 39 auction campaigns you've paid to do the social. And then previous to that, you probably, and I'm speaking on your behalf now, but you probably paid to do, your sale results for the previous 39, right? And you think about all of those people in your core market, considering how tailored you are, everybody's seeing that all the time. And if you think about that against, overlaying that with the competitors, we have the data. The whole digital social thing, although it feels like it's growing, it's still only a small fraction of the market. So it puts you in that really, really strong position.
Saturation, right? It's saturation, but in a gentle way. Sorry to interrupt you, Tom. You basically got to saturate it.
Diego, I want to ask you, how does digital help you get prospective vendors? Everyone wants listings. Like, that's the thing that everyone screams out about all the time in real estate.
That's right. Listings are key. And again, it's profiling, right? I mean, I still do. I mean, I've got a trolley of 15,000 letters. So I'm doing everything at the same time. But, I guess if you go back 5-10 years before I was into real estate, the only way was sort of, you do the sort of mail outs, you do all of that kind of stuff. With digital, it's just so much easier. It's just so much easier, but it's about content. So yes, it's good that you got properties that you're promoting, but then, for me, it's very important that I do market updates. So I do different type of market updates.
How often are your market updates?
I do once every 2 weeks that I do personally myself, and then once a month I'll do it with my business partner with the franchise and talk about overall the market. So basically every month I'll do 3 of them, and normally I put about $1,000 on to sort of boosting the video, and normally split 50-50, Tom. 50% to the cold audience, because I want them to get into my warm audience, and then the other 50% into the warm audience. And obviously out of the warm, then I'm trying to get leads and appraisals. So
how do you distinguish what a warm audience is?
Basically, when somebody is either liked the video, watched it for a certain amount of time, there's certain parameters that you can set up. So if somebody watches it for 3 seconds and move on, they're going to be still a cool audience. But the moment they've watched half of it, something like that, or they clicked it or shared it, then now they become a warm audience. And now I'm going to start serving them ads that are based on, would you like to know how much your property is worth type of ads. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you the question of, your market wrap is a professionally done video, or it's done an amateur video?
No, it's professionally done. I've got to deal with my amazing videographer. It cost me a couple of $100, and we normally time it with a photo shoot. So just before the photo shoot, we just record it. And normally, Tom, is literally 1 minute to 3 minutes long. And I'm just talking about what's happening in the market. That's why I don't do it every week. I do it every couple of weeks. I used to do them on my phone, and there is a certain level of, authentic. It's basically authentic on your phone. But I think if you want to take it to the next level, it needs to have some professionalism behind it.
Okay, so I'm clear now. You do a property video. You appear at the start, but you let the property sell itself. You do and you boost that video, and you spend a few $100.
Yeah, a couple of $100 every time. Yeah.
Where are you boosting it to?
Facebook, we're using as well the AIM app as well. So we do a couple of different things. We basically trying to do everything, Tom. Like you guys were talking just before, it's about being everywhere so that you know that you haven't missed a single potential buyers.
Okay, then you're doing your market wrap video. Is there any other kind of content about property videos and market wrap that you produce in the video format?
In the video formats, no, not at the moment. I've started doing a podcast, but that's more for agent focus. It's not for the vendors. But basically, it's either about the properties, obviously promoting to the buyers, or the market update, that is going to the vendors, trying to get the listings and all of that. So those are my main two strategies. And I feel that, yeah, they work extremely well because one is targeting the buyer, one the vendor.
What about non-video posts on social media? Do you do any non-video?
Oh, look, Abby, my marketing manager, I check my Instagram every day because she always puts a post about something. So yes, 100%. We're always trying to be a little bit different, following, your sort of teaching, not just a picture of the property. We're trying to do something a little bit different every time. So I think it's about a post every 2 days minimum on our different social medias, including LinkedIn and everything else.
How much do you reckon, like in a good month, how many listings do you get?
So I was telling Frank before, so if you're looking at the last 5 months, I listed 27, 20, 34, 19, 27. And this month I'm at 10, the quietest month of the year. But yeah, so far I'm almost at 140 listings for the year in 6 months. Listed. Out of the
140, Diego, if you had to turn around and say, how many were triggered, created, cause and effect were digital?
I would say between 20 and 40%, and it's impossible to me to exactly find out how. I'll tell you why. I've signed a listing 2 days ago. They came from a digital appraisal, but there was someone that I've been dealing for a couple of years, and the way they engage in the end, and they actually said, I want to list my properties because they saw the ad, but I think they would have come.
What do you mean by digital appraisal? What do you mean by digital appraisal?
We've got different sort of strategies online. So we basically prompt people to give us the details and we give them a digital appraisal. But this is what we do different. And I see people, I see agents, Tom, always do, you give me your details, we'll give you an appraisal. But I've learned a couple of years ago that if you call a vendor and you say, hey, Tom, thank you so much for giving me your details. I'll come and have a look at your house tomorrow. Is that okay? They'll tell you, bugger off. I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to, you got to be gentle. So what I mean by digital appraisal is like, once I've got your details, I'm going to do a very quick property appraisal on Property Smart, which is the same thing as Property Guru, or, the same sort of platform. Yeah. I will email it to them. I will send them a text message saying, thank you, I've sent you the appraisal. And if it comes from Facebook, I'll do a very quick video on the feed, on the messenger that says, Tom, thank you so much for requesting the digital appraisal. Open made sense. Very, very gentle. And it's the opposite of ABC, always be closing, is I never, never, never ask, do you want to sell your house? Just give them information. At some stage, you'll turn around. By my digital appraisal in my database, I've not gone to see the property. It's digital. I sell it to them as I'm not going to call you. I'm not coming to the property.
Mm-hmm. So Frank, I'll tell you what I like about that. You've said something extremely salesy, and that is, don't always be closing. Everyone thinks always be closing. You're not ABC, you're ABE. Always be educating. Always be educating your marketplace. Always be educating. And they'll close themselves. They'll close themselves. You don't have to pull out a sledgehammer and say, I'm coming in for the big close, because you would have earned it. Touch point, touch point, touch point. Like Gary Vaynerchuk says, jab, 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 jab. There comes a day where Diego's sitting with them. He's got his agency agreement out and he signs it up. What people need to understand, it was 99% before that day of jab, 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 digital appraisal, touch point, just listed, just sold this. Here's my market wrap. It's been layered. It's been layered. They've been brainwashed. Diego's the man. Diego's the man. Maradona was the guy who scored the goals. Diego's going to sell our house for us. Frank, I'm going to have a hand over to you because I know that you're pumped about digital. Yep. Is there anything you want to ask?
One thing that Diego just mentioned, which really stood out to me, and I just want to clarify. When you do the digital appraisal, did you say you do like a little video recording, which is like a personalized message?
Yeah.
That to me is huge, right? And I think just kind of calling out what that is we have people that utilize digital, but often use it as a way to not get on the phone or be it's much easier to send an email. What you've done there is you've made sure it feels like it's personalized. It doesn't feel like they clicked on a button, it automatically sent them a link to the local data place that said your home's worth X. It's, hey, this has been tailored for you. So I can see how marrying the, the personalization as well as the digital would work, beautifully in your favor. Apart from that, are you doing other kind of content marketing? So like, I'd love, you mentioned your marketing manager, is posting every couple of days. What kinds of things are you posting on there? Is anything in terms of you're trying to build your own personal brand, or what are your strategies?
Yeah, I'm just basically opening my Instagram so I can see what's been happening recently. Look, it's a combination. I remember watching a video a while back with on the gym, and it said somebody said, if you post something on your social that your grandma shouldn't see, you're doing it wrong. So whoever said that stuck in my head. So anything on my
said that because there was a real estate agent that had put a post of him looking ripped at a stereo sonic. This is when you used to DJ. Remember when you used to DJ and you used to see guys wearing tight shorts with a six-pack and their glasses? Well, he had put that post there, and I said to him, mate, I know you're at stereo sonic or phonic. I can't even say it, right? But the bottom line is, if your grandmother saw that, what would she say? And that's how I came up with it.
Yeah. So basically, I follow that, and thank you, because of my Instagram is a combination. I'll say 70% it's work-related stuff. So the auction nights. Obviously, I put this thing about today, which was very excited. Video testimonials from my vendor, a picture of the sold sticker, just reinforcing that are selling tips, post, and then it's the rest. It's basically all me with my kids and my dog. That's and they're all genuine posts. So that's basically what it is. Just showing.
What's your percentage of personal posts versus business posts on your platforms?
I'd say 80-20. When I'm on holiday, which is not often. A reverse, of course, but I'll say 80-20.
Business page and personal page on Facebook?
Only because you can only run ads on the business one, right, Tom? Otherwise, my focus is on Instagram. I don't personally use Facebook myself. So Abby's got access to my Facebook and she posts various things, but I just check Instagram. That's the only way that I can see what's happening in the world. I don't listen to the news or anything like that. So Instagram is my source of knowing what's happening out there, and that's where I post content about my personal life.
Frank, you might not be aware of this, but Diego is probably Australia's also king of text messaging. He's got a very, very, very strong text strategy, right? Which, and I have to tell you, I think text messages are powerful, particularly good text messages sent to the right people, right? You pretty so Frank, and we won't go into it, but pretty much every person in Diego's team on their computer have the ability to send a text message as if it's coming from Diego. So I'm just curious, response rate of text messages to emails. What's it like, Diego? Better?
Again, Tom, I don't ask anything on text message. So it's if I send 1,000 text messages, I'll be surprised if I get 10 replies, because I'm never asking anything. I just give. I think I get a better response rate by email in terms of, I send an email every month from my own, my PA does send an email to all of my database, one by one, addressed to the name, and I get a better response that way. By text messages, I normally just let them know a very good record sale I've done or something like that. But again, it's individually sent to your name versus from an automated system. So they'll get it from my phone number. So
I reckon there's a lot of people watching this in New Zealand right now that are sort of saying, you know what, like, I don't get this digital stuff. I've got through real estate so far. I can't do it. I don't have time. I don't have time to do it, right? Or I don't need it, or I don't know how to use it. I mean, how much time do you spend on this, Diego? Is it time consuming?
But it's funny that you say time. Everything what me and Abby try to do is to save me time. Right. So I can go and get listing. I can do conversation with my vendor and with buyers. everything we're talking about here is for me to save time. So I want to save time so I don't have to do certain things so my team can set up. Yeah, well, of course, to set everything up takes a little bit of time, but once it's set up, it's there so I can reclaim my day. And if I got extra time, I can go home with the girls, you know, my two daughters, you know. So time is the most valuable thing in life, in my opinion.
So what you're saying, Diego, is don't do this to create more work for you, which means less time for you. What you're saying is do this so you actually gain more time, because technology is more efficient and effective for most of what you do, which will allow you, what you're saying is to talk to more buyers, more sellers, or talk to your daughters.
That's right. And we're going back to social media. The whole thing is set up so that you can set it up and let it work. Let it work for you so that you can focus on other things. You know, me and you Tom talked about before, I don't make 5 phone calls a day is a lot of phone calls for me. And it might be crazy to some people, but I've set it all up so that I can, you know, the phone calls I make, they're meaningful, and there might be 5 to 10, 15, but I'm not spending all day chasing. I let the digital and everything else to do the chasing for me without actually do the ABC. I just,
big difference. Because I reckon, Frank, Diego's not doing this. Hi, it's Diego here from Harcourts. Just giving you a call just to see. No? Okay, no worries. Hi, Diego's here from Harcourts. Just giving you a call to see. No, okay. He doesn't do that. What Diego does is, hi, can I help you? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, no problems. What time would you like me to come over? No problems. That's the difference. He's attracting. They're coming to him. He's become a digital magnet. And I got to tell you, if there's any guy or girl out there right now that wants to jump on to the path of being a digital agent, but they're also got a narrative in their head, it's too hard, don't have time, don't have the equipment, don't know what to do. I reckon if you can simply sit at a listing presentation and say to a vendor, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, what's more important to you? The risk of over marketing by a few $100s or the risk of underselling by $100,000. If you can simply have that conversation and you're able to get a few $100s, obviously the more the better. That's how life works, right? The more the better. But if you could get a few $100, like, can I ask you, Frank, can you get a decent social media campaign with you guys for 500?
Yeah, absolutely. Our average. And so we're actually the #1 consumer for Google and Facebook advertisement across Australia and New Zealand for real estate, and #6 in the world. Our average is about $300, and that gets you across the Google display network, all through Facebook, and the amount of retargeting and the amount of impressions that you build up over time is ridiculous. And if you think about that, put it in perspective, $300 compared to a listing on a real estate portal or any of the above, it's incredibly cost effective, which is actually
Frank, and I'm going to tell you straight, retargeting works because I have got 4 beach towels I paid $600 for. Listen to this, Diego, listen to this. I'm at, where Matty Steinway is, at Terrigal, right? I'm at Terrigal. His office is there. And I'm sitting there on the beach. And I pull out my mobile phone, right? And I'm just sort of there. And then I'm mucking around like everyone's on sitting in the sun there. And my little daughter goes, Daddy, look at those towels over there. And I look across and there's someone that's got a towel that's just gone like this. And all the sand's come off it and they walk away. And my daughter goes, Daddy, they're called tessellate towels. She goes, look it up. So what do? I go on and I press tessellate on Google. I look up the towel and I look at them and it says, the magic towel. Sand simply does not stick on these towels. And I look at them. My daughter goes, is that it? She goes, yeah. I go, wow. Okay. Anyway, I put the phone back down, sitting in the sun, go back to Facebook. Half an hour later, an ad gets served up from Facebook. Tessellate towels. Buy 2, get the 3rd free. I say to my youngest daughter, are they the ones? She goes, Daddy, quick, take it before the offer goes. Press it now. It's Apple Pay. So it's got Apple Pay. I go, quick, 3. She goes, oh, Daddy, you need 1 more. Go back in again. I ended up getting 6 towels because you had to buy 2, 3. I ended up paying like $500, and it's because I got targeted by Tessellate on Facebook.
Tom, I want to add to that point, right? And it's so key for real estate because there's two elements you've just touched on. One was the referral, essentially from your daughter, right? Yeah. Now that in the real estate world might be a referral from the local, your friend who's sold, and then you heard, oh, I had an amazing experience with Diego. You type in Diego into Google, you find him. And then the second element is that retargeting. Now that you've engaged, you're part of that audience, and that's going to continue to follow you. And if you've got the right strategy like Diego does, it's not continually like, hey, get my listing, hey, do this, hey, do that. Because I think, everybody gets bored of that very quickly. It's that here's information, here's value that I can provide, which is what's going to help you, continue that snowball.
Yeah, I love it. I reckon that everyone should just actually follow Diego. And I reckon everyone should listen to his podcast as well. What's the podcast called?
It's called Cut to the Chase.
I reckon listen to the podcast. Now, I know that I'm mindful on time. I just wanted to ask you, Diego, like your top 3 tips to anyone that's watching this right now, that's sitting there, and then I'll hand over to Frank to close off, and he can ask or summarize or just thank everyone. I just want to ask you, to anyone that's watching, 3 tips that you've learned through these years doing digital.
Repoint everything to your websites. That's the first thing. So have a custom website. On the website, you're going to have a pixel, and every communication that goes out to buyers or to vendors, it's information on the actual website. And here is the key. So every property listing that I ever would have 123 Smith Street.nz. So people will click on that link versus going on Trade Me or the equivalent or realestate.com. So it goes on my website, and everything. If I send a market update out by text message, I'm not sending the YouTube link. I'm sending the link on my website, which has the YouTube video. And the reason why is because the pixel then is going to target them everywhere, just like Frank said, on the Google network, and they will say my name over and over again. So that is the number one thing. Create your own website, have a pixel on it, and push everyone to your websites. So tip number 1. Tip number 2, look, it's a cliche, but if you haven't started, start today. Because if you start today, in 12 months of time, you'll be ahead. If you start in 12 months time, and my content at the start is cringeworthy. The videos I was putting out, oh my gosh, I probably delete them, all of them. But I started to get some confidence and talking about property, talking about a market update. And with the iPhones these days, you can probably do half a decent job anyway. Might cost you $50. Just start with something, because at some stage your something will evolve into something else. You might not start with a professional video every 2 weeks like I do, but it doesn't matter. Start with something. And I don't know, a third one. What can I think about a third one? I don't know. There's so many things I can talk about.
Listen. By the way, everyone, want to remind you, if you've jumped on this a little bit late, $3 million man in real estate, maybe about less than half a dozen years. It's less than 6 years, isn't it, Diego?
Yeah, I finished my 5th year a couple of months ago.
Okay, right. So this guy's out there. He's, spinning records as a DJ, playing music out to people that are off their faces at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Makes his decision. That's it. I'm going to change my life. Though it was a probably enjoyable life. I'm sure you enjoyed that life, wasn't it? Because DJs, Diego, my understanding is when you're a DJ and there's thousands of people there, you're like the star. You're the man that's able to actually get people to sort of feel the way that they feel. It must have felt good being a DJ.
Yeah.
All right. But now he's a family man. You've just sold your house as well. I know that you got your 2 little girls, and you're carving the way, the new breed of agent 3.0, the digital savvy agent. Frank, I'm going to hand over to you. And again, we're not product pushing here, but if you're the sort of person right now that says, you know what, I want to work my strengths, I want to outsource my weakness. If your weakness is digital social, and you don't want to go off and sit there through YouTube course and go off and sort of sit there and try and learn it all, just get the VPA and let others do the thinking for you. Over to you, Frank.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. I have one more question, which I'm desperate to ask for you before we close. when you're in your listing presentation and are you using this digital strategy as a selling point to the vendors? Because do you need to, because I hear that you get some money towards the VPA. Do you need to kind of sell and encourage that, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, you got to set it up right, because it's for vendors. It's about, they trust your advice, and its reputation is all I have in the business. So anything I sort of propose or suggest comes from a place of actually me believing that. And I truly believe that if you're not on digital, you're missing a part of the market. Okay, so I basically set it up, and if you look at my marketing schedule, it's towards sort of the middle of it. And you're obviously starting with the photography, the video, the floor plan, and the major portals. Those are the main thing. But then from then it's like, we got to be online, we got to be in front of the right buyer at the right time. And it's not about putting a few $100s to anyone. No, we're going to promote it to people that are engaging with you, because then we get a better reaction. So, and they go like, yeah, no, we understand that. And I always use the example similar to Tom. I always use the example, which is these days is a little bit, well, not as useful, but when I remember one day I used to book a flight to go somewhere overseas, and for the next 2 weeks, all I could see was Air New Zealand. Reminding me of other flies. And it's the same thing. Why would you not want to have a buyer reminding you about the property that they've clicked on or they've engaged with, and reminding about the property? Because they might say no at one time, but then the next time they see it, they might say, oh, actually, let's go and check it out. So it's basically educate the vendor and reminding them that, what they do in their personal life applies to properties as well. And that's why, AIM it's a great product for that, and it's easy as well. Call it for what it is, Frank. It's easy. You just, get it set up and it works by itself. Again, we're here to save time and to make money. And that's one good example for that.
Love it. Thank you. And we had one question come in that I'd love to get your answer for. Do you use any print? I'm guessing that's in relation to newspaper printing.
We do a little bit of printing. Yeah, we do a little bit of printing. We've got a billboard on the motorway, and then we do about between 20 and 30,000 letters every month as well.
But no newspaper?
One roof is Abby just jumped in. One roof is a sub sort of paper in the Herald, so that's a property press paper. So we always got some stuff in there, but that's normally self-promotion marketing versus property marketing. Yeah.
Yep. So in a nutshell, I'd say probably the biggest thing I've learned from you, Diego, is you're trying to be everywhere when it comes to marketing. You're trying to make sure that there's no stone unturned. And I think if there's a big takeaway, it's that. And if you have the passion that I can see you do, that's how you're going to help sell it to the vendor. One of our most common questions we get from our agents is, how can I get the vendor to spend that extra money? Well, by seeing it and then delivering the results and then getting those case studies, you build that passion, you build that belief, and ultimately, and you sit in front of a vendor and say, like Tom said, you want to miss out on $100,000 because we haven't reached all the audience. It becomes a pretty simple thing. But that's awesome. Thank you so much, Diego. That was a really, really good session. I actually, I'm pumped.
Is Italy still in the Euro, or have they been knocked out yet, Diego?
Oh, Tom, I haven't. So you know what? What? We're on the way out. This says I don't watch the news. So it's bad. Worst Italian in the world. I used to love football, and now I'm just it's family or work.
All righty.
Abby's the news.
Abby looks like she follows the soccer in Italy more than you do, and Abby's not Italian. You're not Italian anyway. You're a Kiwi now, right?
I am. I've got my passport, so hopefully we're coming to Australia in a couple of months if the borders are open, and if not, hey, it is what it is.
All righty, guys and girls, I'm going to sign off. Frank, thank you again, and stay safe, Frank. Stay safe. We've got low case numbers today, or lower. Hopefully, we're all going to be all sorted by next Friday, and we're back into normal operating business. Everyone else signing off.
Thank you. Thanks, Diego. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Tom.